Hey everybody, Greg here, and I am in downtown Iowa City. As you can see behind me, I'm going to swivel the camera around. And this is a video in the series of videos on bike trails in the Iowa City area. And the location where I'm at right now is the Iowa City Transit Hub. You can see the Iowa City Transit office across the street. I'm going to zoom in on that. And that is what is sometimes called the Old Capitol Center, or UCC, University Capitol Center, which is on the south side of the street here. And then on the north side of the street are the Pentecrest buildings. This is Schaefer Hall, and then McLean Hall further down. So this is kind of a central hub for the city, and from here, if you are on a bicycle, you can head off to the north, south, east, or west. I'm going to head to the west side of Iowa City and show you some suggestions for how to make that ride without running into a lot of traffic. And so it would be, safe and enjoyable ride from the downtown area to the west side of Iowa City. So we're heading west on Washington Street, which will dead end here at the bottom of the hill. Depending on the time of day and how much traffic there is, you could take the street. I like the sidewalk. You can see it's pretty much double the width of a standard sidewalk. You'll want to be sure to obey the traffic stop sign here, and then swing on out into the street. There's a choice here to either go to the west at this north end of the main library, and you can go under a bridge over there, or you can just kind of head south and ride past the main library. Today is Friday, August 4th, 2017, and I mention that because we are in the summer session, actually kind of between the summer and fall session at the university. So as I'm riding past the main library here, normally you would see a lot of students waiting to catch a bus or heading to class or what have you. So we're now at the south end of the university library, and there's a park here which is quite nice, and it's another familiar landmark. And this park is called Gibson Square. So there you have it. It's a nice ride through there if you want to take the path through the park, or you can head out here and take the sidewalk along Burlington Street. The downtown is experiencing some revitalization. Over here we see a building being built. Beyond that, in the distance, you can see the new music building, university's music building. Here is the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center, CRWC. But as I said, we're going to turn right, and the sidewalk here is set back quite a bit from the street. You'll see that some people will ride their bikes on the street here, but that could be a little bit precarious. The traffic goes kind of quick, and you can sometimes get pretty large trucks going through here, and there is not a bike lane. So, you know, you're on a 30-pound bicycle, maybe going 15 miles an hour, and you're up against vehicles that weigh thousands of pounds going, you know, maybe 30 or 40 miles an hour. So I like taking the sidewalk. There's sidewalk access on both sides. If you're thinking about continuing south on Riverside Drive, just over this bridge over the river here, you may want to be on the other side of the street and take that sidewalk, or you can cross coming up here at the light. This building over here on the left there on the south side of the street is the power plant, and then over there is a hydraulics lab. It's a little bit obscured from the bright sunshine today. The Iowa River is constantly changing, you know, throughout the seasons. In the fall, you'll get a lot of nice changing of the leaves here, colors of fall along the river. Even in the winter, it's kind of interesting. So, as we get to the end of this bridge, there is a circular looping walkway that goes over Riverside Drive, so at the corner of Riverside Drive and Burlington here. So I'm going to go up that ramp, and you'll see the sign here. It says caution, slow your wheels. It's encouraging people to slow down when they're on their bike. Well, then this says walk bike on bridge. So I guess it depends on which sign you want to believe. There's another view of the river. Quite nice. So really, I think the goal would be, whether signs are posted or not, is to, you know, just be sensible and be courteous. Sensible, courteous, safe, and watch out for people. There's a nice view of the river as you're coming up here. You can see the power plant there on the left. And then on the west side of the river is the hydraulics lab. I'm going to try to brighten this a little bit. There you can see it, the hydraulics lab and the power plant. And then we're going to continue on up this looping spiral walkway until we get to the very top. And then here's another really nice view of the Iowa River. We're looking north there. See a bridge. There's actually a couple of bridges in the distance, and then another walking bridge further north of here. So that's something to explore. And that's where we came from. All right, so we're going to continue on now on this walking bridge overpass. We are heading west. You can see Riverside Drive going to the north there, eventually curves around and goes to Coralville. And before I move forward, I'll point out that by the hydraulics lab there is a sidewalk that turns into a trail, a really nice trail that goes south on Riverside Drive. So that's something worth knowing about. As we continue west to the left here, to the south, you'll see the University of Iowa Law School. It's a really interesting building, and there's a bridge that goes over there. And on the right here is the new Peterson Residence Hall. It's really a nice building because it utilizes, you know, different colors of bricks, plus some nice curved glass here. And the windows do a good job of reflecting the clouds. So, you know, it's not just this mammoth building that kind of blocks the skyline, but it reflects the skyline. There's a lot of free parking here for bikes, of course.
So tomorrow
and then
go over that side.
Inside the residence hall,
Yeah,
just inside the residence hall, is a little cafeteria. I think that's open to the public. A person could check that out. So across the street, here we are at Reno Residence Hall. And it's worth pointing out that the public transit available here in Iowa City includes an Iowa City bus system, this CAMBus bus system, which is free and runs and serves the campus area. And then there's a portable transit system. And where we started this ride, where this ride began downtown, is where all those bus systems come together. The residence hall across the street is Slater. So they're on the south side. And we're going to continue west. There aren't many roundabouts in Iowa City. There are a few, but not many. And this is one of them, right here. I'm on the sidewalk, so I don't have to mix it in with the traffic, but I'm going to cross here. You want to be careful because people coming in here from the left may not be paying attention, and similarly from the right, so you just want to be careful there. If there's not much traffic, you can try taking the roundabout on your bike, but otherwise I wouldn't advise it because it's difficult enough for most drivers. They're not familiar with that. So it's nice just to take this sidewalk by the field house. And the field house was just recently approved for a renovation, which is pretty exciting. It's an older building on campus, but really quite interesting from an architecture perspective. So that's going to be fun to kind of watch that transpire and see what we end up with eventually. So that's all of that is the old field house. But then it wasn't that long ago that this new construction was attached onto the south side of the building. So you can see here there's access to the parking ramp area, and I'm just riding along the sidewalk here. Again, better to be out of the street so you're not getting in the way of cars. And keep in mind that, you know, Iowa City, and particularly here in the vicinity of the hospital, the University of Iowa Hospital, you're going to get a lot of people who, you know, just are not familiar with driving in this area. There's probably thousands of people who come to the hospital, or they're coming here to study, and not everybody's going to be super familiar with the traffic patterns and driving in this area. So you want to be sensitive to that as a bicyclist, that you know, people might just be pulling out in front of you and it seems like maybe they're being rude, but it's just they're unfamiliar with the area. So I wanted to point out here again this architectural accent, which is glass panels on this parking ramp that reflect the skyline. So rather than blocking blocking out the skyline. They just reflect the existing skyline, and you can really get a nice effect there. This is part of the hospital parking ramp. It's parking ramp number 4. So we're going to pull around and start heading west again. These are louvers, which I don't know if those are just decorative or if they perform some function, but it's louvered panels on the side of the parking ramp there. This intersection here is Melrose Court. So off of Melrose Avenue is Melrose Court. We can go down there to Brooklyn Park. We're going to keep going straight though. And along this sidewalk, there will be people waiting for the bus. There will be groups of people near the hospital. I'll show you down here. This is both a CAM bus stop and an Iowa City bus stop, so you can often get people collecting there. This area is an entry to the parking ramp. It's an entry to this family care center, UIHC Family Care Center. And you know, anybody who's having to go to the hospital for something other than just kind of a scheduled appointment, people do tend to be kind of on edge or distracted, or, you know, understandably so. So they may not be at the top of their game as far as driving and paying attention. And so you just want to be sensitive to that. So particularly here, you're going to find that people will sometimes pull forward, and then they'll just kind of be right in the path of where you'd want to ride your bike. So you'll be riding along, and they're just going to be right there. So rather than getting upset about it, just kind of chill and realize, you know, at some point they're going to pull away and you can keep riding. There is, I'm going to show you, there's this bike path, a designated, dedicated bicycle path on the road. And I'm just going to kind of bike over here and show you. But I wouldn't recommend taking it, because you can see what happens there is cars swerve into that lane. Somebody's, you know, checking their phone and texting, and then pretty soon you're not having a good bike ride, you know. So I would say just kind of stay here on the sidewalk, way out of the, you know, out of the way of that traffic. And again, just be courteous. There are going to be people. Oh, I'll show you also, I just kind of missed it, which is this area here. You're going to have a lot of people smoking because it's near the hospital. And then here you see it says, "Welcome to our, you know, our smoke-free environment." So I'm not sure why it is, but yeah, lots of people stand here and smoke next to the sign that says no smoking. But I think it's because, well, partly it's where the air intake is. So if you smoke near these air intakes, then it helps the smoke get in the building. Anyway, but it's just something you'll see. So just keep riding along. We're approaching Hawkins Drive. It looks like I have the right of way for another 10 seconds, so I'm going to go. Be really careful here at this intersection, because you'll have people, even though you've got the right of way and they have a red light, they're just going to kind of, it's going to seem like they're trying to run you over. They're just not paying attention. So, and again, here's that, you know, bicycle lane, but I'm just going to stay on this really wide sidewalk. Point of interest, Kinnick Stadium, home of the Hawkeyes. And in the fall, you know, there'll be 60, 70,000 people coming in to watch football games. I mentioned earlier, this is Friday, August 4th, 2017, and you know, you just kind of want to keep your eyes open for patches like this that are needing repair. But I mentioned the date because, you know, maybe in another 6 months that will no longer be an issue. Cars are often exiting from the parking area here, so you want to be real careful. They'll be exiting and turning right and left. We're going to keep going west on Melrose Avenue. And from this bridge, you'll get a really nice view of the railroad, which heads off in that direction. And I'll just kind of slow down and give you a look at that. You'll notice that there's some steps down there. And these train platforms and the stairs are for a train that takes people from Coralville all the way over here to the football games. And it's a really popular thing to do on game days, is to park out in Coralville, get on that train, and not have to hassle with traffic and parking and all. So anyway, that's something to know about. So here we're entering into the University Heights. So I'm going to adjust my lighting here so you can read these signs. So it's welcome to the city of University Heights, and then you'll see University Heights is a bicycle-friendly community. Now, I can read that sign, bicycle-friendly community, but as I mentioned, you know, a lot of people, they're not from here. They're just visiting either for, you know, healthcare or education or sports or some other reason, visiting family. And so you just got to kind of take it easy, give people a break, and know that even though, you know, University Heights is intended to be bicycle friendly, not everybody's necessarily going to be as aware as others, you know. So, but here's a bit of construction that I'm guessing won't be here in another few weeks. Looks like they're just finishing up. But I'm right now at the corner of Gulfview Avenue, Coaster Avenue, and Melrose Avenue, which is heading west. And on this corner is Stella. And you know what? Their sign is not showing. So, but Stella is a wonderful local restaurant, neighborhood restaurant, very popular. I'm going to keep heading west here, watching out for the construction. There's some really nice flowers, by the way, on that corner. Sometimes there's cars parked in this grassy area, depending on, you know, if some construction's being done. I think this just belongs to the city, that rectangular space. The sidewalk here, I don't recall exactly when it was upgraded, but it's wider, smoother, nicer compared to the other side of the street. On the south side of the street, there is a really, you know, generously wide, dedicated bicycle lane, and that does not exist here on the north side of the street. So that's another reason to get up on this curb and not have to interact with trucks and cars and people rushing home at the end of the day. And as you can see, there's plenty of width here. on this sidewalk for pedestrians and cyclists to maneuver safely. Another reason for, in this case, taking the sidewalk is that this is quite an incline here. And unless you're a really avid bicycle racer or something, you're probably going to want to take it a little easy coming up this incline, because it just keeps going, and some people talk about this discussion of whether or not bicyclists should ride in the street or should they ride on the sidewalk. And I don't think there's really a single answer to that. I think it depends on the conditions, And so typically when you're going uphill and you're going slower, you're going to be more of an obstruction to traffic, right? But if you're going downhill and you're traveling at about the same speed as the traffic around you, then you're perhaps less likely to get hit, maybe, or at least less likely to irritate people. So here we're at the intersection of Melrose Avenue and Sunset Street. This was recently renovated. New lights, new crosswalk. And then to the right, we see One University Place. And one of the first businesses to go in to this space is Maggie's Farm Wood-Fired Pizza. And there are some luxury condominiums for sale. You can check that out by calling the A-Team. Anyway, this is a view of that new building. University Police have moved their office here. It had been down next to Stella's in the same building there. And here's the entrance to Maggie's. It's actually very beautiful inside there. Highly recommend that you check it out. It's not yet open for public access. I happen to be able to join in on the soft opening, kind of a trial run, and it was exceptional. So just continuing along here, some of the advantages to this ride and to avoiding the other side of the street. At the end of the day, you'll get a lot of nice shade. It's quite cool in here. On the right is Birkdale. And Birkdale is a small collection of homes here, single family and double lot or shared lot line homes. And then just a little further west, you'll see the athletic club. So it's called the University Club or the Athletic Club. And for those who are members here, they allow you to use the facility for events. They have tennis courts, swimming pool, quite a bit to offer there. And on Tuesdays, University Heights Farmers Market can be found right here in the parking lot of the Athletic Club. So that's definitely something to know about. This parking lot here is, it looks like used for university buildings, university vehicles, and I've occasionally seen some golf carts in there, so I guess it's a Finkbine lot. And then I'm going to wrap the video up right here at the entrance to Finkbine. And the reason is because I have other video footage showing, this route going down further west on Melrose. And then there's some videos I've posted showing this trail, which it says goes to Hawkins Drive and Carver Arena, but it also goes to, and that's what I show in one of my videos, is it goes all the way over to Corva and over to Mormon Trek through a really nice wooded area. So I'd recommend checking out that video. In fact, I'll probably go ahead and put a link to that on this video, which will be on YouTube. So anyway, I appreciate you taking time to watch the video, and appreciate all the positive feedback and comments, and look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great day.